When Ayan was 8 years old, he learned that silence could be heavier than noise. Every night he watched his mother, Mehnaz, sitting in a dim room under a flickering bulb, stitching clothes until her fingers hurt. She never complained, never rested, never asked life for anything. She only looked at her son and said, "One day your life will be easier, beta. Better than mine." Ayan believed her because a mother's voice is like a prayer that protects you even when you're asleep. His father had left them without a goodbye. One afternoon he walked out, saying he needed space. That space stretched into years without a single phone call. Ayan grew up with the sound of a sewing machine instead of bedtime stories, and with a quiet mother instead of a complete family. One afternoon, little Ayan came back from school and found his mother asleep on the sewing table, her head resting on unfinished cloth, tears dried on her cheeks. He shook her gently. "Ami, why don't you rest?" She smiled weakly and whispered, "When your dreams come true, then I will rest." That day carved something inside him, an unbreakable promise. Years passed. Ayan studied the hardest in his class, worked part-time jobs till late, and hid every struggle from his mother. He didn't want her to worry. When he got a scholarship at 16, Mehnaz quietly cried in the kitchen, thanking God and smiling to herself. "You'll change our story," she told him. Ayan hoped one day he could change hers too. At 22, he got a small job as a junior architect. The salary wasn't huge, but he saved every rupee. He moved them into a slightly bigger apartment with sunlight and a balcony because his mother loved sunlight. She said it made her feel alive after years of dark rooms and noisy sewing machines. Life started to taste a little sweeter. Ayan dreamed of buying her a real sewing machine, maybe even a small shop one day. Then one evening, his phone rang. "City Hospital speaking. Your mother has collapsed. Please come." Ayan froze. His heart stopped. His legs shook on the way to the hospital. When he finally saw her lying on the bed with tubes, pale and exhausted, he felt something inside him collapse too. The doctor spoke softly. "She has been ignoring her health for years. Stress, lack of rest, her heart is weak." Ayan sat beside her and held her cold hand. "Ami, why didn't you tell me?" She opened her eyes slowly and smiled the same tired smile he'd known all his life. "Because your life was finally improving. I didn't want to hold you back. You're not a burden," he whispered, his voice breaking. "You're my everything." For the first time in years, she cried in front of him. "Just promise me you won't lose yourself in my pain." He nodded, but deep inside he made another promise. He wouldn't lose her. He stayed with her every night in the hospital, sleeping on plastic chairs, working from the waiting room, skipping meals, praying endlessly. Slowly, she improved. The doctor said she could live a long life if she rested and lived peacefully. But peace required change. Ayan quit his job. People mocked him, lectured him, called him over-emotional. He ignored all of them. He had chosen something more important, time with his mother. He took a loan, used his savings, and opened a small boutique shop. He named it Mehnaz Creations. When she asked why, he only smiled. "Because everything beautiful in my life started with you." The shop grew slowly. People didn't only come for the clothes, they came for the warmth of a mother and son who had survived life together. They loved the story behind the shop, the resilience stitched into every dress. One evening, Ayan stood at the doorway watching his mother decorate the shelves with colorful fabric. Her eyes looked brighter than ever, her hands steady instead of trembling. "Ami," he asked, "are you happy?" She looked around the shop, touched the cloth gently the way she touched his hair when he was little, and teared up. "I'm happy because, for the first time, I'm living instead of just surviving." Ayan hugged her tightly. She held him the way she did when he was a boy, full of strength she never showed the world. Their journey hadn't been easy. Life had broken them, separated them, starved them, tested them. But love had stitched them back together. Sometimes the biggest stories come from the smallest homes, from tired hands, from quiet sacrifices, from unspoken prayers. Sometimes a son becomes the light that guides a mother out of darkness. And sometimes, a mother's single dream becomes the foundation of her child's entire life.